Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another Kingdom Rush Origins video. This is Jokull's Nest, level 12 on Veteran mode. And we're going to be doing the main story. We have our level 10 hero, all the way maxed out. And then for the towers, we have the Master Architect, the Ultimate Power, the Infernal Nova, Fear of the Damned, and Soul Echoes. Same thing we had in the level 11 challenges. So let's get right into it. Alright, let's get started. We get this nice little cutscene here. Very impressive, coming all the way up here. Pity it will be your frosty grave. So I started off this fight by building a Dark Knight Fortress, and we did 2 archers on the left-hand side. It's where the enemies are going to come from the first wave. And I upgraded them to level 2. And then I upgraded the second most one, the one closer to your choke point, and both of them to level 3. So we're going for max DPS here, not worrying about magic. The mausoleum down at the bottom was not going to be able to reach the choke point initially, but that's okay. But yeah, you want to put it. You can put a mausoleum at the bottom too. And then we have moved our hero just to kind of get killing stuff as soon as he can. Go ahead and drop your abilities and things on top of the enemies. Just wait till they're kind of in range of the first towers. And then I also went ahead and called in the wave really early. Now, as soon as the second wave starts, you'll notice they come from the right-hand side as well. And these are the frost waves, so they're going to be high magic resist, low armor, which means you're going to want to have some archer towers set up. And I switched back to the basic archer towers instead of the bone flingers. I think they do a little bit better job here of just doing damage, so a little bit faster, more DPS. And I'm just rotating my hero back and forth to where I think he'll need to be. Notice I didn't build a barracks on the right-hand side yet because I didn't have enough money to get the Dark Knight Fortress up and clear the rubble. So I went ahead and just put the archer towers and basically used my hero as a barracks for now until I can get the Dark Knight Fortress set up. Eventually you're going to need to set up a barracks though. And some of these I didn't call the wave in as fast as I should have. I decided to upgrade my archer tower there to level 3 just to get that max DPS. And with the idea that eventually as the waves will progress, you'll start to see more armored guys. And eventually you'll need to upgrade your mage towers as well. But for now, just focus on killing the guys. And the best way to do that is just to build archer towers. So we'll take care of the spinny guys. We'll take care of the huntresses and the arctic wolves. So this is a fun level. It's 15 waves, so it's kind of long. But there's also an interesting fight at the end, which I'll get into later. And the main guy, the boss, I guess you can call him a boss of this region. He just decides to fly around and spray his ice at you, which is just annoying, but it doesn't really do all that much. If you move your hero right before he sprays, you will not be frozen. Same thing with the barracks, I believe. But overall it's just kind of annoying. It's not really that devastating. Notice out here I built a Inferno Mage on the left hand side because I wanted to start chipping away at these armor guys. Wave 4 is when the Valkyries and some of the heavy armored stuff start appearing. And then notice on the right hand side you start to get these ice witches, which are really annoying because they summon these ice shard things. And they don't give you, when the ice shards, they don't give you money when you kill them. So it's kind of like your towers are just busy killing stuff but not giving you any resources for doing so. So it's you want to try to get rid of the ice witches because while you're busy, while your people are killing the ice shards rather, other stuff will run past your defenses, so they're becoming a huge problem. It's not bad to just drop reinforcements on top of them when you get the chance to. And we went ahead and upgraded our Inferno Mage Tower. At this point, when you start seeing heavily armored stuff, you're going to want to put some more points into your Mage Towers. But hold off investing into your Dark Knight Fortress until you have to, because they're pretty strong by themselves, even at level 1. And you don't really need to invest any more than you have to in these things. And for the most part, yeah, we're going to let the guys run the gauntlet. The archers do their work pretty well, softening up most of the enemies, killing off the low armored stuff, so that's good for us. Now I dropped the soul impact here because I saw a big group of ice shards and ice wolves coming down. My hero's just kind of standing there. I was afraid the ice shards might run past, so I decided to keep him kind of low. But I will need to take care of these ice witches soon. So I'm dropping my hero power and stuff on them. You can see that. And now we have a level 4 archer tower coming on the left-hand side. And once you get to level 4 archer tower, you really start to do serious DPS. So it does a really good, it will help. It'll make you feel a lot more confident killing off this like low armor, high mobility kind of stuff. Prevents things from slipping past. Now our hero is over on the right hand side just chilling out, killing these apex predators, which are very annoying. And you definitely do not want to let these things get deep into your defenses because they will break and then one of the ice shards will run away. So I have lost many games to these things just slipping past your defenses. You always want to be very careful. We see our first ice giant over on the left hand side now. It made its way down to our main choke point. And I dropped this soul impact because I thought this thing would, just need to kill it quickly. We have a level 3 mage tower now, but it's not quite enough for Inferno Mage to kill it. Eventually we're going to need to start upgrading our Dark Knight Fortress as well. You can see the ice giant just cleared out the barracks and was able to make it through a little bit, so we have to be wary of that when we see another one come in. These little dragon things are also a bit of a problem. This is why I think on the right hand side especially, you pretty much just want to go full archers until like much later into the fight, because to kill off any of this stuff. You can see at the bottom right how we have the level 4 archer tower now. That's going to be really important in getting anything that wants to run past our defenses, because a lot of times you'll lose runs or lose a life just because one little guy will get past. And having the archer there is just like that last line of defense. Is usually a pretty good idea to pick off any of the low health guys running past instead of a barracks. So yeah, pretty chill so far. Haven't had too many close calls. We're already about halfway through the fight, at least halfway to the boss phase. Archers do a very good job of taking down the Valkyrie spawn, the Droughts I think they're called. And really most of the stuff that comes out in this wave is weak against archers, with the exception of the heavy armor stuff. So I went ahead and put a mausoleum at the top left-hand side. You can see the closest checkpoint to the spawn, just to get a little bit to hopefully with the idea that later on I would chip away at some of those heavily armored guys and create a barrier, which turns out to be very useful later on at the end of the game. Now, advice for putting down your reinforcements and hero power, just kind of look at the map and see which area is going to need it the most. You're worried about high mobility stuff running past your defenses, and anywhere you see like heavily armored stuff, it's often better just to kill the smaller stuff first, just so your towers can spend more time focusing on the more major threats. Like you can see this ice giant here is just walking the gauntlet and taking a lot of damage. If he is alone and the Inferno Tower is just able to chip away at him, he's fine. But when there's a lot of other stuff where the Inferno Towers have to focus on, that's when it becomes a problem. So you can see they're starting to clump up here. My hero got a really good stun off on everybody. And I think I eventually drop a Soul Impact. Yeah, here we go. Soul Impact cleans up most of that stuff. If you are at this point where you're focused on getting upgrades or towers, I would prioritize towers. So you can see up there at the top I got a fully upgraded mausoleum, which is going to really help against these ice giants. And then I'm focusing on upgrading my archer towers on the right hand side as well. Usually though, if you're concerned, I would upgrade the towers instead of buying a lot of additional towers. So if you have to choose between upgrading a tower and building a new spot, generally it's better to upgrade your existing towers. Instead of just dumping it into upgrades. That's like usually I always like to focus on towers, unless you know like you'll really need an upgrade. Now these piglet things can be a bit annoying too because they don't die that quickly to archers, and they can run past your defenses. So you can see that guy almost got away there. Inferno Mage coming in clutch, finishing him off. And I think around this point I start to upgrade my Dark Knights as well. These pig things, just keep an eye on those pig things because around wave 10 they start to come out. And they will run past your defenses if you're not paying attention. They like to hop, and once they're in the air, they don't... If Mage Towers kill them off really quickly, but the Arch Towers take a little bit of time. And that is one weakness to this defense, is that you have to worry about the pigs, because without a full mage setup, they can run past your stuff. Okay, so you can see I upgraded the Dark Knight Fortress a little bit too late there. I could have had a much easier time with it, but fortunately we had enough. We had a heroes coming up back up to stall that pole bear. He didn't get away. And yeah, make sure your hero is just doing stuff. If he's not doing anything, it's always good to have him do something. These Valkyries are coming out, which again shouldn't be too much of a problem. I was surprised at how fast the drought died to the archers. They're just absolutely get shredded here. And you should be pretty much done upgrading your archer towers. I have 1, 2, 3 fully upgraded archer towers, and I'm putting points into the Inferno Mage as well to get the, or actually no, I hold off on that. I'm sorry. Upgrading one of my favorite towers, which is the artillery on the bottom, on the center there, slightly towards the right. That is going to come in handy against these mass spams of stuff that's coming in, especially since they're so low on armor. The artillery it's generally good. I think that the mage towers have an advantage most of the time, but sometimes in levels like these, the artillery is really fun to use. So my hero's just kind of standing there, trying to take off some of the pigs that are coming in. I think the Dark Knights are able to just tank out the ice giants for a while. And I dropped a soul impact there because I was afraid of those apex predators coming in. But so far so good. Level 4 Archer Tower now on the right hand side. So 3 level 4s. Really going to help deal with the apex. And Mausoleum finally coming out at the bottom left. So 2 Mausoleums on the bottom left, or on the left hand side. And I'm starting to put points into possession as well, because I knew that the big stuff comes out on the left hand side, like the Pole Bears, the Ice Giants, the Valkyries. So getting a couple of possessions off really does help stall out these guys. And I went in some kind of makeshift barracks on the left hand side just to prevent them from running all the way down to your bottom. It's nice to have a little bit of stalling power before while your main defense takes care of the main guys. So you can see the possession on the Ice Giant. He just walks all the way back. That gives you so much time. And I think he even fights the Pole Bears a little bit. Yeah, check that out. So possessions are usually a pretty good investment. Possessions, and then honestly all of the Mausoleum investments or upgrades are really good. But I love the possession just for how much time it gives you. Okay, now putting a couple gargoyles out on the top left just to hopefully, stall out the Ice Giants. And man, another possession comes out. Pretty good. Gargoyles coming out at the bottom left as well, just act as more stuff so that the mage towers can do their work. And they're just in range of the rocket. So when they're all clumped like that, when they're all clumped up, the rockets do so much damage. Now you can see a big horde of stuff just streaming in from the left-hand side. Quite a few of the Vikings, and then a couple of Pole Bears. Dark Knights they're pretty tanky. I would probably go with. I think this is a pretty optimal defense though. I think there was not too many things I would have changed about it. The artillery, I originally experimented with 2, but I think that the DPS was just too slow. 1 well-placed artillery is generally all you need. Getting more stalling on the left-hand side, just upgrading these mausoleums. I also put points into these archer towers to get the corrupted arrows, and these things will weaken the enemies, which is a good idea because as they make their way down to the main defense, which is where my hero is standing, they'll be weakened and they'll take more damage from your towers. So that was kind of the logic there. I put full points into both archer towers on the right-hand side. Sorry, the left-hand side. And that's really helped kill off some of the big stuff. When in doubt, prioritize the towers that are closest to your main defense. So towers that are farther away, like towards the spawn, are usually less of a priority, so upgrade. And again, Einstein's pretty scary when you see them. Just realize that they're big and slow, so having something that can stall them out while the Inferno may just chip them away makes them a lot more manageable. You just don't want to have a bunch of archer towers and then let them run past everything. That's when you have problems, if you know that they're not going to be able to be stalled out. Now we're ending wave 15 here. You get this little animation after these arch giants die, and we get to start the boss battle. I would take note of what this final formation looks like. If your defense is anything like this, you shouldn't have too much trouble going into this final boss. I've had enough of you and your minions. Time to pimp my ride and bring some real pain. I think is what he said, agony. Wow, that's a really cool animation. Are you ready to chill your bones? We are. Let's do this. Okay, so that's this giant dragon. It looks very menacing. It has an ice breath, which can freeze a lot of your towers, and it also starts dropping random stuff that helps. That kind of injures your barrack guys, but overall not that big of a deal. Notice on these artillery that just appeared on the map, bottom left and bottom right. They will give you a little indication of when you can click on them, and they will shoot their cannon at the dragon. So just pay attention to that. As soon as one lights up, you want to click on it immediately, like that right there. And it does a good amount of damage to these dragons. Now, you will be absolutely gooned by high health, high armor enemies at the top there. Hopefully you have set up your defense. I think that was one of the reasons why the mausoleum was so good, just because it stalled out these guys for a long time. But always be paying attention to the cannons, because you want to get as many shots in as you can before the enemies will overwhelm you. And I have my hero just kind of chilling there. I knew they would eventually come down, so they're just going to wait. I didn't want him to die. Another cannon shot being used. He's almost half health. And so far, so good. Pretty tame. The great thing about lots of enemies appearing is there's also lots of money that you can get. So now you should pretty much have everything maxed out. I think the only thing I didn't max out this game was the Dark Knight Fortress, just because they were good enough the way they were at level 3 to not have to max out. But I put I'm upgrading my runes on the Inferno mages. I've upgraded the archer towers all the way with the corrupted arrows. I make sure the mausoleums have the gargoyles coming out, and also the possessions, which help increase the stalling potential. I would have loved to upgrade the artillery more. In fact, I should have put some mines out, but I didn't. That would have been one thing I would have changed, I think, at the end game here. Just when you have money to dump into something, getting the mines upgraded so they can just start tossing out their mines on the field is very useful. Now, notice how on the bottom right, it took me a long time to realize that was actually indicated. Just pay attention to that. It will save you a lot of time and potentially save you the game as well. You can see Ice Breath is starting to drop these little shards that injure your guys. Ultimately, I didn't find that to be too big of a problem. Now, this bottom, left, I was a little bit too slow there. I could have clicked on that, and I didn't, and then the cannon broke. So I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost the game. But no, you don't, didn't lose the game. I had to drop a Soul Impactor to kill off those drakes, because otherwise some of them would have slipped past. But if you lose the cannon like I did on the bottom left, you do get another chance, so don't worry about it. Just focus on staying alive. I was an idiot being a little bit too slow there. I think I would have won the game already had I not had I just been a little bit faster. But anyway, on the bottom right hand side, you can see another cannon is ready to use, and I'm so focused on the upgrades I almost missed it. But there we go. It's GG. Pretty clean. How to tame your dragon. And I thought it was going to be so easy. Silly me. At least now I have a nice view. Nice real estate view from here. Oh, one that takes me to my final goal. I'm coming king. Alright, so we get that nice little comic here. We get 4 upgrade points, which we'll use for the next level. And then we get a nice little animation to show us where our next goal is going to be. So stay tuned for the Iron Challenge and the Hero Challenge, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.